watching Car Nitty. My name's Mizan, and viewers that have been watching Car Nitty since I started it will recognize this car. It belongs to Shubzi, and this was like the third ever car I ever had on the channel, so it's a very familiar car. Now you could argue that I've already reviewed it, but that was a comparison between my M135i at the time and the Golf R. Now it's been a full year since I've done that video, and I feel like it's time to give this car its own video, its own limelight, because this is not just a normal Mark 7, it's a modified one. On top of that, Shubzi's owned this car for around 2 years now, so we're going to get a full insight into ownerships and what it's like to have a Golf R, as I've done with my M135i. The Golf R is what I like to call a jack of all trades, master of none. Now what do I mean by that? The Golf R is one of those cars that can do everything. It can literally do everything, you name it. It can be a van, it can be a family car, and it's also a very fast car with a lot of tuning potential. But it's not exceptional in any of those departments. It's just a good all-rounder car, and that's why people love a Golf. So when you get a Golf R, which is the hot hatch variant of it, everyone's going to love it even more. But compare this against something like an M140i, which I feel like is a master of something. It's got the rear-wheel drive element, and it's got a straight six up top. Now both of those cars are so different in their own leagues, and let's be honest, the Golf R for me is more common. I see these way more often than an M140, and I think it's because of the factors that I've said. It's a car that can do everything, so that's the strength that it possesses. This car for me is the first 2-litre turbocharged R that I like. Now obviously, as you guys know, I own an R32, which has got a 3.2-litre VR6 engine, and the car that followed that was a Mark 6R, which had a 2-litre turbocharged engine, and now we've got this, which is the Mark 7 and 7.5 and 8. But this is the first car that I could forgive for giving up the 3.2 litre because of the way it looks. It looks quite good, it's quite aggressive, whereas the Mark 6 just left a bad taste in my mouth. It's unfortunately the car that I will always remember for killing the 3.2, whereas this car has its own identity. We know it for the 2 litre it possesses. When we look at a Mark 6, can't help but hate it for killing the engine that I love. Let's now talk about how much a Mark 7 will cost you. It can cost you from as little as £14,000 for a non-categorised manual car to £16,000 for a non-categorised automatic car with a DSG gearbox. The gearbox adds a lot of value to these cars, and the reason for that is, I guess it's part of the thing of it being a jack of all trades. The gearbox makes the car easier to live with, as well as the fact that these cars are known for the DSG bangs, which you're not going to get with a manual car. A Mark 7.5 is essentially a facelift Mark 7, and you only get a few extra features. I don't think it's worth it, but I suppose if you've got the money, you should go for it. And those features are sweeping indicators for the rear lights, mirrors and headlights, as well as the fact that you get a virtual cockpit for the dash. But apart from that, most of the car is unchanged. The body shape, everything is still the same. I mean, this has got the facelift rear lights anyway. It's been retrofit, and it's got sweeping indicators for the mirrors. So he's only missing the front end of a 7.5. In terms of power, this car's obviously got a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and it produces just shy of 300 brake horsepower and 380 Nm of torque. It's paired with a 6-speed DSG gearbox, and it sends its power to all 4 wheels via Haldex 4-wheel drive system. Now let's talk about modifications, because let's be honest, when you look at this car, you know it's not a stock car. If anything, let's be honest here, it's a ricer, isn't it? It's an absolute ricer. Do you know why it's even a bigger ricer? The owner's going to be agitated behind camera. The owner's going to be agitated behind camera. But the reason why it's the reason why it's even more of a ricer. Hey! The reason why it's even more of a ricer is because it's not even modified under the engine bay. It's got an induction kit. That's it. So let's talk about those things now. So this car's got custom splitter, side skirts, diffuser, rear spats, Mark 7.5 rear lights, F1 rain light, spoiler and spoiler extension, limo tints with a chameleon at the front, Itachi or Bitachi stickers for an extra 100 brake horsepower, catback straight pipe exhaust, de-chromed front grille, blacked out VW badges, Team Heco wind deflectors, M-style wing mirrors, Jaguar XFR bonnet vents, black and red wing badges, Rolls-Royce floating center caps with R logo, sweeping indicator with light up dance, reflective calipers, R600 induction kit, starlight roof, carbon LED steering wheel with R8 buttons, knockoff Gucci pillows, interior footwell lights, door side paddle lights with R logo on all 4 doors. And that's about it. I think I'm out of breath now. I think we need to go for a drive and see what this car's about. now in the Golf. I just want to give a nice warm welcome to Shubzi.
Thank you very much for having me, Mizan.
Okay, so Shubzi is someone that has featured on the channel. But funnily enough, in his own video, he wanted to be camera shy, and I remember the video I did with him, his face wasn't shown throughout the whole video. Then when I did a C63, which belongs to Shah, he decided to show his face, and it was a bit of a cameo. And speaking of cameos, we've got ads in the car. Ads, you know, pop out?
He's there, bro.
So if you guys watched Car Nitty again from the start, you remember Ads was the first ever guy I had on the channel. No wait, second ever person I've had on the channel after Ibrahim. This is your Golf R. You've had it for how long now? It's 2.5 years now.
2.5 years. And obviously we've talked about the story of why you bought in the previous video. You bought off your cousin and whatnot. How's the 2.5 years been, man? Be honest.
2.5 years. You know what it is? I barely drive this car. It's like a weekend car. I've got another car. I've got a daily. So I don't daily the car.
Yep.
I wouldn't daily the car.
You don't want to?
No, I wouldn't.
That keeps the magic alive, isn't it?
Yeah, that does. It makes me look forward to every weekend coming out of it after work. I'm looking forward to like taking this car out.
Yeah, I agree.
But obviously it's not just like I don't daily because you can't daily. You can, but I choose not to because of I value this car. This is a sentimental value to me.
And this is the thing about your car, which is mad. You're running stock power.
Yeah,
stock power. You've not tuned it, and that's the maddest thing. You've got cosmetically, it's had thousands of pounds spent on this car, thousands of pounds. But when it comes to tuning, you haven't even done a stage 1, which is obviously probably next on your list now, isn't it? How has it been maintenance-wise, man?
Maintenance-wise, I'm not gonna lie, it's not expensive, it's not cheap. I'll say it's just about right.
Yeah.
I've not had to put in too much of maintenance. I service my car regularly.
Yeah.
But because I'm not putting that mileage on there,
yeah,
I don't think I've actually had that impact on where I had to change a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. The more you drive a car, the more things go wrong, and the more it hurts your pocket. Definitely.
Exactly, yeah. But I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I've owned a 55 plate.
Yeah.
Astra H.
Yeah.
1.6.
Yeah.
Petrol.
Yeah.
Manual.
Bro, it's freezing, bro. What did CEOs put in there, bro? It's freezing in here.
AC is working, fam.
AC's off though.
No, I switched off now. Like, I put it on the lowest setting and it's still bare cold. So maintenance wise, you were telling me this car doesn't cost much. It costs similar to what your previous car did, which was a 1.6 2005 Astra, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So literally you're paying similar amounts.
It's not, even that one I was dailing as well.
Yeah.
So when I was dailing that one, and obviously I'm not dailing this one.
Yeah.
I did daily this, even then, I probably said the costs were very similar.
Yeah.
And because I think even with these, the Golf R, I think obviously the S3s, Audis, they share the same parts.
Engine and parts, yeah.
So when it comes to buying the parts, it's not expensive.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It's available everywhere.
Yeah, and also this is a flagship car in the Golf lineup, but it's not a flagship car in the Audi lineup with the S3.
Yeah.
So you almost get a cheaper price there because although you've got a flagship car, it's not a flagship car because under Audi it's not. Whereas RS cars, M cars, AMG cars, they demand a high premium when it comes to buying stuff when things go wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is,
I think Ads can verify that with your C63, isn't it, Ads?
Yeah.
So, let's forget that happened. And yeah, the 2.5 years you've had the car has been blissful. You're very happy with it.
My experience with it was amazing. I've heard
horror stories.
A lot of horror stories.
Yeah.
Too many, because I'm on the Facebook owners group, and so many. And the stuff I hear from them, man, it's just ridiculous, man. Like I genuinely feel sorry for
a lot of people, and you're like, you've not had a single issue.
They've been unfortunate, yeah. But
they have been unfortunate. I think it always comes down to how cars be maintained.
Yeah, exactly,
as long as you're preventative, rather than, because they say prevention is better than cure. So if you are on top of your stuff, your car will do you well compared to if you just ignore it and leave it, isn't it? So just to confirm, Shubzi, the whole point of this video it's a 2-year ownership review and to understand what your experience has been. So what you're saying right now is you've got nothing to report on your end personally. Nothing's gone wrong. Nothing that people need to look out for when they're trying to get the car looked at or anything. You've got nothing to report.
Nothing.
All right. Well, I'm sorry if I've misled you into this video, hoping that you're gonna get some good information because he's had an amazing experience with his car, so he's got nothing to say.
Maybe it might be because I didn't tamper with the engine probably.
It could be anything. It could be the fact that you don't push it to its limit. It's more of a show car for you. That's what matters more for you.
Yeah.
On top of that, you haven't tuned it. So there's so many different aspects that could be the reason why your car is still running the way it is. I swear, when you're driving this car, all you're waiting for is that DSG bag, isn't it?
Basically.
That's basically what you're waiting for. Yo!
gonna fly there for a second. I swear those DSG bags are so aggressive. Oh my god, I've never seen Shubsy drive like this in my life. I swear, yo, I've never seen Shubsy drive like this in my life. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Oh my god, I can't even get caught. I swear to god, I don't know what to do. Who is this? That's not Shubsy, that's someone else. Come back on the roundabout. Whoa, Shubsy, bruv.
Jeez.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Ads, can you just show your face here? You've known Shubsy how many years? I've never seen him drive like that in my life. Have you?
Mad thing, bro. Moving like it's possessed.
You went silent.
Normally with Shubsy driving, I don't need my belt.
Yeah, but trust me, Shubsy, like we said, he's more about showmanship. He likes having a car that looks good more than the way it drives. But wow, 60 mile per hour limit on the road. You were doing 60 mile per hour around those bends.
100%, man.
But that is the benefit of a car like this.
I didn't exceed the limit, the speed limit.
No, you didn't.
I was doing national speed limit, wherever I need to do.
But the thing is about this car, you were doing the speed of the road. Like no one does. In a real drive car, you can't do that, and that's how you're supposed to drive these cars, isn't it? You know what, man? I got the windows down. Those DSG bangs are deadly. They're deadly, man. Put your windows down a little bit. Let's hear that, man. Are we in race mode, yeah?
Now we are, yeah.
It's such a dirty bang. Oh, it's that road again. I say, I'm looking at the road ahead. I'm just like, Shubs is gonna.
Nah, I'm coming it down, man.
But before we swap seats, let's shoot over to the draggy and see what this car can get 0 to 60. Right,
I'm not
guys.
a camera guy, but I don't show my face everywhere, bro.
Just say yeah, man. I think so. A stock is 4.9. I don't know if I can get anywhere near that. I'm happy. Just say that. Right, cool.
Gone.
Right, guys. We're now at the strip where we're going to do the 0 to 60 run. Shubsy, what do you think you're going to do?
4.9 seconds.
So that's in reference to the fact that the car is stock 4.9 seconds. So you're saying you're going to do 4.9?
That's what I bought it for, there. 4.9. So I'm expecting 4.9, innit?
Okay. So your point is it's going to do what it says on the tin, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, cool. So if you want to line yourselves up, and then as soon as I hit record, the draggy will automatically start recording.
Oh, you know, I laughed at the beginning, so it's like.
Right, guys, we're now at the strip where we're going to do the 0 to 60 run. Shubsy, what do you think you're going to do?
I'm gonna get 4.9 seconds.
Is that in reference to the fact that stock this car gets
Hey, bro,
4.9?
I can't do this again.
I swear to God. All right, he's hoping for 4.9 seconds. Shubsy, I'm now hitting record. The draggy will start recording as soon as the car detects anything.
So do I just do it now?
Yeah, man, just launch the car. Bloody hell. That's 60. You're not going to be happy, mate.
Where's that?
That was like well in the fives, right?
5.89.
5.89. I'm brother. Your thing's broken, bro.
Cancel.
But how many was it before?
5.89. I'm gonna discredit that. This is your first attempt as far as the camera's concerned, yeah? Shubsy, I know stock is 4.9. What do you think you're gonna do?
I hope I get 4.9.
You hope?
Yeah, bro.
You're not gonna be confident about that, no? Okay, so
I don't know, innit? I don't know.
so
I've
did
never done this before, so I don't know, innit?
Okay, so
we'll see, innit?
what I'm gonna say is off camera, he's had an attempt.
No,
and-
see, what are you gonna do with it now? What are you gonna say that for, now? I thought it's my first time, man.
Cool.
No one needs to know we've done it 10 times already, man.
We're now into Sports Plus mode, race mode, or whatever it's called, and.
What happened?
5.57. So Shubsy, 5.57. Are you happy with that?
Not really, but I meant to get 4.9. But you, man, like, weighing my car down, I'm like.
Okay, do you know what? Yeah, me and Ads are both gonna get out of the car. How about that? Yeah. Why are you getting worried now? Why are you getting worried?
No, let's try that.
So just to confirm, Drago will start recording as soon as you do it. So I'm hoping for you to be at least 5.2. I'm being fair.
Let's see,
Go
mate.
for it. Copyright music. Don't put your stereo on. Oh wow. No way. No way.
Where is it then?
5.01.
Jeez, man.
You only got a 10th off the stock number. You're well happy with that.
I'm happy with it.
You must come on. You're literally a 10th off the stock time.
So it depends on your actual weight, bro.
Obviously, of course it does. There's weight. If we replace you with a skinnier guy, we'll get 4.9. We'll get 4.9. So yeah, guys.
So whoever done the factory numbers. Was a skinny,
well,
skinny
usually
dude,
they
man.
would get a slim guy, isn't it? They don't want to weigh the car down, do they? So this is what we're gonna do now, guys. Those of you that know Shubsy know that he is a videographer and he does some crazy cinematography and cinematics and all kinds of stuff. So before I jump in the driver's seat, let's shoot to Shubsy Real. What can I say about the Golf R that I haven't already said before? It's just a perfect all-rounder. I don't blame VW for moving away from the 3.2 in a way. I don't, because ultimately, let's be honest, it was impractical to have a 3.2 litre in one of these. When it comes to, as he said, maintenance has been very low for him. Maintenance on my R32 is very high. If things go wrong, labour cost is high. Whereas on this, parts are cheap, so is the labour. So you're really paying a lot for that noise in the 3.2. And I have to be honest, you're not getting a lot of performance out of it. This car, it's got 50 brake horsepower from stock, more than the R32. But you're stage 1 tuning away from another extra 80 horsepower, you know?
Yeah, it's big gains.
But the problem is, I guess I'm someone that likes abuse, you know? I want my something to go wrong in my car and cost me thousands of pounds compared to a couple of £100 in the Golf R32 and the R. It's a relationship that I just can't describe. But I know all around this is a better car, but why doesn't it appeal to me as much? I don't know. If it was your money, I'll tell you, buy the Golf R. But when it comes to me, I'd rather buy the R32, and you know it. It's very often that people look at Golf Rs and go, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like meh.
Meh.
DSG, like,
Yeah.
all-wheel drive. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
aim the steering wheel and shoot.
That's
isn't
what
it?
I mean. Like,
there's
but
nothing
you know what
else.
is? We get more like there's more stigma when there's Golf R drivers that's actually crashed a Golf R. Like how? Like, how can
Whereas
you do
people
that?
crash an M140 and they're like, bro,
Oh, no, it's a rear-wheel drive.
It's a Larry car. It's a Larry car. It's not his fault.
The back swing down. That's
yeah.
why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a Golf R crashes. You guys, you don't know how to drive.
You're going in a straight line. Like how can you crash it?
He's right. He's honestly hit the nail on the head, man. But it's one of those things.
But I slightly do question it as well, though. And I've not seen crashes. Obviously, like it happens where the driver's not at fault, but. It's very, very difficult to crash this car, like in a sense of driving. Like it is. Like I'm driving it, and I'm not gonna. I do have full sense of control when I'm on the road.
I agree, especially with these PS4s you got in the car as well.
Oh, tires matter, 100%. I've had Continentals,
Yeah.
and these don't even come nowhere near like how bad Continentals was.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. It's crazy, isn't it? How much difference a bit of rubber on the car makes. And a lot of people thinking it's a 4-wheel drive car wouldn't even spend the money on that rubber. They would just say, you know what, it's 4-wheel drive. Why do I need to spend silly money on tires?
Tires makes a huge difference.
It's the stickiness of the rubber and how it applies it to the road. And on something like this, part of the thrill is being able to put all that power down. So if you've got bad rubber, you're not going to be able to enjoy it. Honestly, I'm finding it really hard to say anything bad about this car. I am. I mean, all the points that are known to be bad with this car, you've already mentioned. Oh, it's boring. It's you aim the steering when you shoot.
Yeah,
How do you crash a Golf R? But it's one of those cars. It's that it does everything you want. So how can you complain about it?
The thing is, it makes a perfect family car.
It does.
If you want to borrow your car to your sibling, to your mum and dad driving, I think Golf R is the perfect way because it's suited for everyone. You know, it's not a risk factor to anyone. So even if I give it to my siblings, I know because of the all-wheel drive aspect of it, I know she'll have more control on the road of it.
I agree.
So I feel more comfortable in knowing that, you know what, I'll give the keys to her.
Exactly, but if you have to give someone the keys to my M135i or adds this C63 over there,
you will still have that something at the back of the head.
You'll be like,
I don't think you know how to control this power.
Exactly, 100%. And the weather comes into play as well. So with the M135i, I could only enjoy it on dry conditions. As soon as it rained, you forget about it. I can't do anything. It keeps lighting up the rear. Whereas in the rain, you can always keep going at this. Junction. I don't know, someone might pull out. You know what? This steering wheel is so distracting. I'm just seeing red lights just flashing at me. It's so distracting. You're just trying to focus on what the road has in front of you. You know what? This car handles really, really well. I mean, realistically speaking, they say that Haldex isn't the best four-wheel drive system. They say that, but unless you're on track,
now you're wrecking my car, bro.
It's payback. It's payback. I sold my M135i because of you, because of the way you treated it.
Oh no, don't
things
on me because he sold it now.
Things were never. Listen, after you drove it, things weren't the same. All we did was we just kept arguing. Things just weren't right anymore. It was always Shubsy didn't used to treat me like this and that. It was just we had too many arguments.
Okay, now I can say if I get problems with my car, now I can say it's car needed.
Yeah, you can. But you know what, man? This car with that DSG gearbox would lack so much soul. That you need that DSG bank. I love a good manual car. I genuinely really do. But you need that DSG bank, don't you?
It does. It feels more immersive. With
it does. Banks. It does. It's just the drama that you get with the car. And I see your car's just farting away as usual, like it had a bad engine. And you know what? I love the way this car it's been set up. It's stiff, but it's not overly stiff. Like the road is quite bumpy, but your car can genuinely take it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely can, yeah.
It's just so perfectly damped. Honestly, if we're talking about dailies, I do think the Golf R is the king. It is the king. There's very little drawbacks to it. The only drawbacks is if you're a certain person, you might think rear-wheel drive is more fun, or you might feel like the noise for a four-cylinder is not enough. But apart from that, it is the perfect car.
Let's go for it, man. Let's go for it, man.
This car's like a go-kart. Honestly, it's like an absolute go-kart.
I'm getting strangled.
And the reason why I'm actually enjoying this car, I'm gonna be honest, Shubsy, is because the R32 is not as fast. No way, no way. I could give you a long list of reasons as to why the Golf R is arguably the best hot hatch, but I'm not going to. Ultimately, I can't take away the fact that it is the perfect recipe. That's why it replaced the R32. The power can easily be beaten by a smaller displacement engine and maintenance to be cheaper. It's also a better bet than my old beloved M135i or an M140i, as the bonnet isn't as long for a straight 6 and the rear wheel drive differential doesn't take up space in the rear, hence why BMW eventually copied Volkswagen. But ultimately, that's why I hate the Golf R. It killed off two of my favourite hot hatchbacks ever made. It's an exceptional car in many departments, but I like compromise. I'm happy to live with certain inconveniences for some drama, such as surviving a near-death experience in a rear-wheel drive car, or make noise like a trombone player in a marching band with a high-revving, naturally aspirated large engine. For the majority of drivers out there, the Golf R is the pinnacle of what a hot hatch can do, and
And if you want a Swiss Army knife, then look no further. Shubzi's story proves they're not ruinous to run, yet they're very potent. If you're an old spirit like me that wants soul and communication from a metal box with 4 wheels, the Golf R is not for you. And on that bombshell, remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.